how about you do a quick introduction of yourself?
Hi, I'm Noelle. I'm a sophomore here at Northview High School. I write for The Messenger, I'm in Black History Club, SEP team, and I march with Poetry's marching band.
So, when did you get started with spoken poetry, and how did you get started?
So in 7th grade when we had the poetry project, I first started when I saw this poem on the Queen Latifah show by an organization called Get Lit, and it was 3 poets, Melissa Escobedo, Zaria Allen, and Rhiannon McGavin, and their poem, Somewhere in America, really just spoke to me, and I was really inspired by it. And so that was like an example poem we were shown for the project, and so with the project, we had to write like a poem, a spoken word poem that could possibly go to the No Place for Hate Poetry Slam in 7th grade at River Trail. And my poem did make it, but I ended up not participating, and then in 8th grade I ended up participating with my friend, so yeah.
Okay. How do you define spoken word and slam poetry? Because I know there's a lot of different forms.
I would describe it as basically just like angrily yelling rhythmically about something that you're really, really passionate about. And basically. It's basically like regular poetry, but like on level 10.
So where do you get inspiration for your pieces?
I get my inspiration from other poems and the news, or if there's something that really, like a social issue that really makes me angry that isn't changing, then I'll write a poem about it because I want to spark a discussion.
So do you go to poetry slams and participate there, or?
I participated in a couple. I did one that was like at River Trail, the No Place for Hate Poetry Slam, and I participated with a friend. And then I did one that was like downtown, and I try to go to them as often as possible, but I can't drive, so it's really hard.
All right, so what's the process of writing your poems?
So I first start by getting like one line or like phrase in my head, and I'll just like repeat to myself over and over, and then I'll write it down, and then I'll basically like form a poem around that one line or like one stanza that I think of in my head. So yeah.
And like how long does it usually take you to write?
Not long, like at most like 15 minutes. It never takes me like super duper long to write poems unless I'm just feeling super uninspired that day.
So do you have a favorite spoken word artist or a favorite poem?
I do. So one of my favorite a couple of my favorite spoken word poets are Rhiannon McGavin. Rhiannon McGavin and Mila Kuda, they were both the LA Youth Poet Laureates, and their poems are just outstanding and really amazing. And also Jessica Romoff. She's really she's also really good, and I love her work. And then that's all I can think of right now. And then my favorite poem is a couple of my favorite poems are Somewhere in America by Rhiannon McGavin, and then Zaria Allen and Melissa Escobedo. And then also there's this poem, it's called God is Gay. And I forgot who it was by. I think his name's like Elliot something. I have no idea, but that's like a really good poem. Yeah.
So do you have any tips for aspiring spoken word artists?
Always write poems for yourself before you write them for a slam. Definitely do speak to some stuff that you are passionate about. Don't write anything for anyone else unless you're passionate about it. It's not like, because spoken word and like slam poetry are both like different than like your traditional like Shakespearean poetry or whatever. Like you don't have to go by the rules when you write for spoken word poem. Just like literally like write whatever.